Came back from a 3-1 postseason deficit. I'm positive he's not trying to test those 3-0 waters as the Lakers hosted the Thunder for Game 3 of their series on Saturday. First quarter, I should say. LeBron, mid-ranger, goes to put LA up 2, and then later in the first, SGA goes to the rack. So back and forth we go early on. Late first quarter, though, Casey Wallace is going to bury a 3 in the corner. Wallace with 11 points in the first frame, most of any quarter of his playoff career. Thunder up 6 after 1. But one way that the Lakers could keep this close is if they were going to be on from 3. LeBron with the jab had 1. Rui Hachimura from the right wing area had another. It's a 3-point game, and then later in the second, LeBron. Cash as well from 26 feet. We are all tied up at 44. But why not get you one more, LA? Luke Kennard. Money as well, 11 of 20 from 3 with the Lakers in the first half, tied for their most 3-point makes in a playoff first half since 1997-98. Lakers were up 2 at the break. By the time we got to the third, it was just the bevy of riches that the Thunder had. That's Chet Holmgren headed in for the slam. SGA with the mid-range. He didn't shoot well. 7 of 20 from the field, but still very much so effective. This time drawing the defense and kicking it down to Casey Wallace for the slam. By the time we get to the fourth quarter, the Thunder are starting to run away with it. A.J. Mitchell off the screen from Hardenstein to the rack. And then Mitchell's going to pull up from 3. Thunder up 106-89 with that and under 7 minutes remaining. Reeves gets blocked. He was hollering for fouls all evening long. Other end is Alex Caruso throwing it down. Thunder roll 131-108. It's a 3-0 series lead for OKC. New on SportsCenter, LeBron James taking some time in the locker room.
Obviously the third quarter, we'll start with that. We didn't have the energy, the effort, and they put a 30-plus point quarter on us. It kind of took care of the game right there, honestly. We had moments, obviously, in the first half that was really good for us. We did a good job of sharing the ball and knocking down shots. In that third quarter, we didn't knock down shots. We didn't defend or get stops, I would say. We defended, but we didn't get stops, and it allowed them to kind of take control of the game.
What is your level of anger and or disappointment?
I don't want to say I'm not angry or disappointed. Obviously you're disappointed in the simple fact like you being down 3-0, obviously. But we still got life, and that's all you can ask for. And we got to be much better on Monday. See what happens.
JJ compared the Thunder to some of the 90s Bulls teams or the 17-18 Warriors teams. Said they're an all-time great team. You obviously played against those 17-18 Warriors teams. Do you think this Thunder team ranks right up there?
They're pretty damn good from top to bottom. And they don't let their foot off the gas.
LeBron, in the third quarter, collectively, you guys are minus 31. What's happening in the third quarter, them versus what you guys are doing?
I don't know. But obviously the number speaks for itself.
When you guys played Oklahoma City, and I think it was February or something like that, you talked about how it's their ability to sustain energy, to sustain execution. Going up against that in this series, just what have you kind of made of their stamina in that way?
Oh, no, it's not nothing. It's because it's not surprising. You've seen them over the years. They have a lot of bodies, and they got a lot of guys that can do multiple things on the floor. So, it helps to have that depth.
About what kind of effort will it take to get one game? What's it going to take from you guys?
Obviously we got everything. Everything and more to beat a team like this. So we got to be at our best on Monday.
Well, when you guys get to, any team gets to an elimination scenario, it literally could be the last time that group is together as it's constructed. Is that something that a group should acknowledge or does acknowledge? And what's key to if you don't, just focusing on the
No, you don't really talk about that. You focus on the moment at hand and go from there.
JJ was talking about how they have the ability to kind of shape-shift within the course of a game and just adjust because of the different personnel that they have. You've been on some teams like that, but what is the challenge when you're trying to almost put something out on the floor that they have and they're able to just switch on the fly?
You just said it's very challenging. They have the proper personnel to be able to, like you said, shapeshift whatever you kind of put out there, and and still be productive no matter who's on the floor.
Lakers had a 2-point advantage at the break. 59-57 was the score. This season, through the first round, the Lakers were 40-2 when leading at the half. Unfortunately for the Lake Show, in this series, they're 0-2 with both of those losses coming in the last 2 games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and A.J. Mitchell on the floor post-game.
Shai.
What y'all don't get to see and hear is Big Perk before we start the TV side of this thing. He's here now with us on SportsCenter. And Perk, when we were talking, you mentioned that despite the lead that the Lakers had, there was no shot that they were going to walk away with this one. What leads to a dominant effort like this from the Thunder?
Man, first of all, good to see you, Trev. Second
Always.
of all, did you see how the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're laughing at the Lakers. They were laughing at them when they had their fellowship moment after game 2 it was in Oklahoma City with the officials. Look, the Lakers just don't stand a chance. They don't match up to the champs. They're full of two-way guys. And what happened tonight is that we saw that Sam Presti have the best eye in basketball when it comes to talent. All of a sudden, SGA is not having an SGA-type series or game. And what do you see when he's on the bench? You see the emergence of A.J. Mitchell. Not only does he go for a playoff career high, but also the decision-making because he had a playoff career in assists. This is how deep and dangerous this team is. It's moments that it could be Chet Holmgren that look like the best player on the floor. Alex Caruso comes in and his impact is all over the place, especially defensively and bringing that tenacity. So when you look at what they done, all they did was headhunt and search out Austin Reeves tonight. That's the conversation that we need to talk about is him, Austin Reeves.
Yeah, defensively, he has proven to be a bit of a liability, so they got some things to work out. A.J. Mitchell, 24 points, 10 assists on the evening. Perk, don't go too far. We got to get some more thoughts on everything playoff basketball, all right?
All right.
New on SportsCenter, J.J. Redick after the loss.
Well, again, the turnovers, we lower number, but they still scored 30 points off those turnovers. I think we had 5 of them in the third. I think all of them actually led to them getting fast break transition baskets. I don't know what ended up being, but I know at one point they were 11 of 17 from 3 in the second half. You're not getting stops. It's harder to score. But again, the MVP is 18, 22, 7 of 20 tonight, and they've kicked our ass 3 straight games. They're an incredible basketball team.
JJ, beyond what you saw in game 2 that led you to share your post-game thoughts, sometimes coaches will try to plant seeds to change the tide of a series. Did you feel like the officiating, there was any impact in it compared to last game after your remarks?
No, again, I said after the game we didn't lose that game 2 because of the officiating. Just pointing out some discrepancies. That's all.
JJ, what was your message to your team down 3-0, knowing that you guys have done some stuff very right, and to your words,
third straight game, we're right there after 2.5 quarters, and we tried different lineups, tried different coverages, still lost those minutes again. We've got to be better, but I'm not giving up on the series, and we're going to go try to win on Monday. We're going to try to extend the series, and we're going to try to take this thing back to OKC.
Was that the end?
All right, J.J. Redick calling the Thunder an incredible team. And the head coach of that incredible team, Mark Dagnall, new on SportsCenter.
I thought the first half, and just a quick follow-up.
Let's bring back our NBA champion, Kendrick Perkins. Perk, Game 4 is Monday in L.A. Do the Lakers win a game in this series, or is a sweep coming?
Man, this series is over. You saw LeBron James' body language. He could care less, and he's trying not to stress himself out. There's nowhere in here that they're trying to get back on their plane and go back for a Game 5 in Oklahoma City. They knew tonight was a must-win situation, but what happened was they got exposed, right? They got exposed from a personnel standpoint, and it showed that the Lakers are just not athletic enough to keep up with these top dogs in the league, especially Austin Reeves. He was picked on time and time again defensively. And here's the bigger question, right, that the Lakers got to ask themselves. Next year, in the near future, whenever, is Austin Reeves going to be part of your franchise where he's going to be a cornerstone paired with Luka Doncic that you believe that could be able to compete and have a legit shot of coming out of the West and bring back home a championship? Because let's be real, just like the Celtics, the Lakers, it's a standard. The standard every single season is championship or bust. It's no in between. The Laker fans are not satisfied with this.
Down 3-0 with Game 4 on Monday on a night. SGA shoots 7 of 20, and OKC still scores 131 points.
Smoke
Big perk coming back with us to talk more NBA in just a bit.
Oh, plenty more in the NBA, but good Lord, it does feel like it's a wrap for the Lake Show at this point, dog. Like, that was a tough watch.
Perk laughing
That's
at
right.
some of the questions.
He is tickled by the efforts of the Lakers.
We're going to see you at the last laugh in Game 3 between the Cavs and Pistons coming up. Big one for Cleveland, and they get it from a familiar. Game 3 from Cleveland. The Pistons won both games in Detroit. Red hot after falling behind Orlando 3-1 in round 1. So desperation time for the Cavs. And they played like it. Donovan Mitchell, so dynamic off the dribble, still in his 9th NBA season. Mitchell had 20 points and 5 rebounds in the first half. The first Cavs player to do so in a postseason first half since LeBron. Cavs led by 16 at the break. Third quarter, Cade Cunningham, one of 10 assists to Duncan Robinson. Cade did turn it over too much, though. 8 turnovers. Pistons cut the lead to 7. Mitchell in transition, watching Cunningham, and one. The smooth operator made the free throw. Pistons down only 3. Just over a minute to go in the third. Oh, boy. Mitchell had 35, 10, and 4, his 35th 30-point playoff game. 2.5 minutes to go, tied at 104. Max Strus the steal. Cleveland got 28 bench points, grabbed a 2-point lead. But a minute and a half to go, fear the beard. James Harden, step back. You don't know me like that. Cavs down. Cavs up by 4. Next Pistons possession. Cade all over Jared Allen. The poster to pull Detroit to within 2. But the Cavs would answer. Harden. Trevi took over late. 9 of his 19 came in the 4th. Next Pistons possession, Cunningham the 3. 27, 10, and 10. Second career playoff triple-double. But Harden, it's still incredible to think he's got more points than Melo and Shaq.
Go to work.
3 of 3 in the final 129 of the game. The 11th all-time leading scorer. Put the Cavs in front by 4. 25 seconds to go. Robinson, no. The Cavs will salt this one away. 116-109 the final. We've got a series again in Cleveland. Detroit on top 2-1.
How did you silence the chatter tonight and have this sort of response in Game 3?
What chatter? What chatter?
Donovan, you had it going throughout the course of the game tonight, and then in the last couple of possessions, kind of took a step aside for James. Why?
It's James Harden. Like I am who I am, he is who he is, but that's what makes us so dynamic, right? You can, choose. It's easy as the outside world, can easily turn on you like that, right? You know what I mean? But the biggest thing is how can you stay consistent throughout, even keel throughout. If you watch his face and demeanor, you couldn't tell if he's shooting well or shooting poorly.
I mean, chatter is going to be chatter regardless, whether you do something good, whether you do something bad, for me. So, still, to give me opportunities in this fourth quarter, and I take advantage of them.
We did our job getting back into that game. Fourth quarter, turnovers, little things that just careless turn. I wouldn't even say careless. I care about it a lot, but just bad plays. That could have got shots on the rim and could have gave us opportunity to win this game.
NBA champion Kendrick Perkins joins us now. Big Perk, 18 of the Cavs' 33 fourth-quarter points came from Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. How was that duo able to take over Game 3?
Well, first, it's about damn time. We've been waiting on this moment. And they were able to take over it because it was a must-win situation. It was a sense of desperation there. And they actually valued the basketball and looked to get their buckets instead of trying to get others involved. You know, the first, second, and third quarter, you could get guys involved, but at the end of the game, you want your two best scorers, especially on the perimeter, to take you home. And I thought they did an outstanding job of finding the balance between the two, mixing it up. And they did an excellent job of having a floor space. But again, this is not the time to overreact because they have to duplicate this again because they're in another must-win situation, in my opinion, because you don't want to go back to Detroit after Game 4 down 3-1.
Still a 2-1 series, and how about only MJ and AI, the only two players in NBA playoff history to average more points at home than Donovan Mitchell's 30.4. Incredible company. We got more from Big Perk coming up in just a bit. One of the big mysteries of the offseason unfolded Saturday when Steve Kerr agreed to return to the Warriors. It's a 2-year contract that'll keep Kerr the highest paid head coach in the NBA. Over 12 seasons, Golden State has enjoyed enormous success, winning 4 championships, 6 Western Conference titles, and of course that 73-win regular season back in 2015-2016. Big Perk, there were no guarantees that Kerr would return. So what's your reaction now that we know he will?
That Steph Curry is going to retire in the Golden State Warriors uniform because that's the only way that this contract agreement got done is because Steve Kerr wasn't going to coach anybody else and Steph Curry wasn't going to play for anybody else. So those two are tied together at the hip. And so what this means is that Steph Curry is most likely going to sign a contract extension, and then they're going to reevaluate the roster because they're still going to try to be a title contender and contend for a title. As long as you got Steph Curry, you're trying to go win a championship. And when you look at this roster is not built to win a championship from what they had this previous season. And so now that you got Steve Kerr inked in, they're going to get in the front office together, and they're going to make some moves this summer.
Feels kind of poetic that they might finish things up together. By the way, Kerr is a 9-time NBA champion, 5 as a player and 4 as a head coach, and you can guarantee a future Hall of Famer. Great wisdom from Kendrick Perkins.
Those Thunder are a problem. Took a visit out to Crypto.com arena and we're all the way live right out the gate. Lakers coach J.J. Redick.
You got to be willing to live with something. Shea playing one-on-one thus far in the series, we haven't been willing to live with.
It's tough when you got to live with a guy like SGA just still giving you work. He draws multiple defenders. Minute later, sees the double team. There's just nothing you can do when OKC just has everything going. Under a minute to go in the third. SGA again, this time with 4 dudes closing in. Isaiah Joe step back 3, buries it. SGA had 8 total assists in games 1 and 2. Thunder roll 131-108.
They're a terrific basketball team. I said that before the series. Been very impressed with them. Still think we can beat them, but we got to be better.
We gotta stay with it. We gotta be even more desperate than we are, and we gotta stay together and stay composed, and just leave it all empty. What we call empty in the tank, just leave it all on the floor.
Basically, the message after the game was we're gonna come in here Monday and we're gonna get a win. Obviously the situation sucks, but that doesn't give us the license to quit. We got to come in here and compete. We owe the organization that. We owe each other that. We owe our fans that. So we're going to come here Monday and play as hard as we can.
You better, because not only are you staring down a 3-0 deficit, all 3 of them losses by 15 or more. Longest streak in Lakers postseason history. New on SportsCenter, we got SGA.